Hi guys, this is a quick market update video just to review the action and keep an overall big picture in mind. It's the big picture that's going to make you money. It's the big picture that's going to lose you money. All right, buying stocks that are doing nothing more than rebounding in a downtrend, you're going to get crushed, and the same is true for the inverse. Um, I am amazed at how well the market is holding up given all the bad news. The latest plan out of Europe is a type of responsibility sharing plan with every country getting access to about 600 billion. That is not going to be enough. That is a kick the can down the road type of scenario, and that may lift stock prices for now, but I don't see the market reacting well to that. Um, that's a pretty bad scenario for now. Although that could happen, and then the Fed could come out and promise not to raise rates until 2025, and the market could get a lift. So let's just have a look at price at this point. The week just started, so take this for what it's worth. But we're holding the 20 week. We're sitting right at it, and this is decision time. I'm not surprised. There's no reason to buy, there's no reason to sell. So the market's just sitting on the 20 week. Um, I lightened up on a lot of my longs simply because there's no impetus to buy at this stage. Um, Earnings are coming out, but the strong dollar hurt a lot of companies this quarter. So wait for value to be reestablished. Um, no one knows what that is, so the market's just kind of holding steady. It opened at 2020 and change, I think, fell 10 points, rebounded 5 points, and now it's just kind of chopping around. Keep the bigger overall context in mind. I would not be surprised to see kind of a panic flush down to this rising 50 week. It seems to be a magnet for us. Um, if we can slide this down for a second, the MACD's rolled over, the Stoch is rolling over. These are not the most bullish signs in the world, and it's just that investors are not sure why they're buying. Um, they're not sure what the reason is to buy, so they're just kind of staying out. So the bids are not really being hit all that quickly, and we're kind of going sideways. That said, the market's really acting quite well, all considered. The Qs have not made a new low this week yet. I know the week just started. IWM is really what's hurting us here. It looks terrible. It's down almost 1%. It started pretty much at last week's low and then just started moving lower. There's no reason to like IWM right here. It really needs to get this over with and and let the market resume its uptrend if possible. This is a weekly capture of IWM, and it really seems to have topped. It topped right around the 120s. A little false breakout here, flushed right back down inside. That's not bullish. Um, I expect some deeper retracement within IWM, and that's really going to hold the whole market back, really. If you want to look at a monthly capture, again, this is just a big picture type setup, type look. We're holding last month's low, but that's a bearish engulfing candle, really. I mean, it took out most of the last month's candle, and we're probably going to finish somewhere down around where we are now. Would be my expectation. A big buy tail would be better, would be bullish, but let's see how this goes. Um, the MACD, just quickly, has crossed. It's kind of moving sideways. It's still on a buy signal. Um, but it's moving sideways only. It has not crossed back higher to a buy, and I don't expect it ever will. um, Not for quite a few months actually. So we got a little buy tail here. Let's see. This could just move sideways, but I don't like the action in small caps, and I expect they will lead the market sideways to down until we can find some footing. Apple's hanging on. Twitter got flushed this morning, but again, it's holding the lows. So the market's just kind of hanging on here. A big flush would probably help the bulls as it would spike fear and panic. And we're neutral here. We're in the cloud. We're also at the top end of a descending range. TLT is just caveman strong. I do not want to short TLT right here, although it's looking extremely, extremely extended. This could continue even higher in the face of all logic and reason. Um, and before eventually coming back in again. This is getting a little silly. This has got to stop. Even if it just comes down and goes sideways, that's fine too. Um, it will have probably a very good year this year. This is a weekly capture, and that's really just about parabolic. I mean, that's look at this is a trend line. Look at this thing. There's uh there's no reason to think bonds are dead yet, but this is beyond silly. I mean, the only real support left here is on a weekly level. You have some support at 124 and some support at 121, and where this is not building any support. This is just getting, parabolic. Europe is going to die, the world's going to end type of move, and this really needs to settle down. Even to buy, it needs to settle down. And there's no reason to buy a move like this. You could short a move like this more reliably than you could buy it. Looking at the VIX, this is a daily. That's not a good hammer if you're a bull. If you're a bull on the S&P. Biotech is still hanging strong. Came in today, found a bid. If you're going to hide anywhere, hide in biotech. It's looking a little tired, if you want to call it that, but it's not giving anything back. Friday had a monster move, and it looks to be just basing for another leg higher. When that comes, I don't know. It can continue to base for a few weeks here, so I'm not buying this just yet. I am looking at some call options, but I want to see more proof in the rest of the market. But this looks great. ACT, my old darling, still hanging in there, very strong. The RSI MACD is not crossed. The RSI is hanging around above 50. The Stoch came down a little bit, started curling up again. Let's look at a weekly. The week just started, so this isn't very reliable, but it's opening below last week's close, which was 268 and change. That I really don't like. That's making me a little anxious, but again, the RSI is extremely strong. MACD's coming in here again, but it's still in a buy signal. So right now this is a little bear flag. Bull flag. We came up, popped, we're coming in a little bit. Should probably come into the 10-week support here, 263, and then move higher again. But that's predicated on the market fixing itself. The bull is taking command again. Celgene, very strong. BIIB looks good. Another name I'm keeping an eye on is Mellanox. Really hanging strong here. Didn't give anything back, really. FireEye is an interesting name, and it's still hanging in there. Keep an eye on it. Facebook, I do not like. I see no reason. This is a pretty strong breakdown. It's below the cloud. It looks like a little bear flag here, and it's going to give back some more. Guild looking good. Silver, of course, is falling along with gold. Just monster breakout. And this is gold itself. Built a little bull flag, popped. Again, getting extended. I think we're just popping outside of this upper Bollinger Band. Now, take this with a grain of salt because the Bollinger Band squeezed right here, which is indicative of a bigger move coming. And of course, we got it to the upside because everyone was looking lower. It has good support here at 1225. I don't know when this comes back. I said 1300 was possible. Looks like we're making a run to 1300, but it should come in a little bit at some point. It's a great bullish looking chart. Great chart on a weekly. We're popping way out here. We got a little higher, 1300 and change. We should come into some resistance and calm down. But this is going to be a huge trade to the upside. I can't wait for this to come in so I can buy some. 1248, 1250. If only 1220. I don't know if we're even going to see 1220. Quite honestly, that's where the name broke out. It'd be great to test that. But I don't think we're going to get that low, quite honestly. I think 1240, 1250 is about the lowest you're going to see before it takes off again. So just keep an eye on the big picture here. Again, the McClellan oscillator is telling us we're in no man's land. I don't like trading no man's land, and neither should you. It's how you get chopped up. It's how you get shaken out. And then after they shake you out, they buy up the names. So The market's looking a little weak here, but price is really hanging in there. We're still above 2,000. I mean, everyone was screaming out for 1920, 1950, and that's still quite a ways away. And as we drag it out, it helps the charts hold up a bit. I'd really like to just see a flush so we can get this over with. But no one knows what's going to happen until the ECB finally makes their announcement. Plus, we have the Greek elections right afterwards. The ECB announcement really has to address the Greek elections as well. They really have to say what they're going to do about that, one way or the other, because they can make a great announcement and then be told by the Greeks, you know, we have no intention of supporting your plans. We are going to default forcibly, and you figure it out, which is entirely possible. We have not regained this downtrend here. This downtrend is on a weekly, which should make bulls very nervous. That's that's a bad sign. We have a strong uptrend here, and these two are coming to a point, which is right around 1970. How long we're going to take to get to 1970? It's taken quite a while here. 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. So it's pretty controlled selling. People are hanging on, waiting to see what happens. Really not a buy setup here. You got to wait and hold on and see what happens. People are selling as they're thinking about, possible bad things that could be happening. They're thinking about possible bad news. So far, the reassurances that have been leaked by the ECB to Reuters, I guess to hold us up, have not been the best rumors. When the rumor can't pop you up, that's a bad sign. We are invalidating these hammers. These are pretty good-looking weekly hammers, and they're not enough, which is not good for the bulls. But bear in mind, we got a strong uptrend still in place. We can trade down to 1950. We can even trade down to 1905 here and still be in a bullish uptrend. Okay, this is just back and fill so far. It's definitely topping action, but that's going to take months. It takes months for the market to top. So do not put on your bear shoes and start shorting names like crazy. It takes months for the market to top. And I do believe we're in a topping process. The cloud here is going flat, sideways. A lot of moving averages are starting to smooth out. If we go to the daily and look at the 200-day, it does not, it's still rising. I already had it. Ha. This is an exponential, actually, moving average. Let's go to simple. The moving averages are at 1967. We have not given back all of this candle yet, so there's no reason to panic. We closed on the highs. Not a bad-looking candle. We're coming in a bit, but again, sideways. We're moving sideways here. The 200-day is still rising. The problem with this sideways action, is that it's going to smooth out the moving averages. A lot of the steeply rising moving averages are going to start to roll and smooth, which is usually a sign that the bullishness is the long-term bullishness is wearing off, and some of the long-term holders have seen enough of bad news, seen enough of potentially bad news getting worse to want to get out. They are not waiting. They are trying to be smart and get out early, and they will give up on more upside in order to do so. This chart's looking worse by the day, really. The lagging span is under previous price action. Okay, so I'd expect this to come down and test the cloud, 1950. The 50-day is rolling over. We have not recaptured it. It's at 245 and kind of going sideways. Again, it's indecisive. We're trapped between the 50-day and the 200-day. So the market needs to make up its mind here, but it really doesn't know what it wants to do. It's being held hostage by the politicians. Thanks very much, guys. But long term, this is tough to short. Okay, this is tough to short. It's very, very possible, and frankly, what I'm expecting by Friday is a quick plunge and a quick buy up. Okay, I expect this to really plunge down, have some Fed head or someone else come out and give quote unquote good news or reassuring news, and then have us pop up again and maintain this sideways position, and then potentially move higher. So keep an eye on that. This is sideways for now, although it's not looking good. We came up, we lost momentum, we tried again, we lost it, tried again, we lost it. So we're really fading away here, and I don't like riding rumors to the upside. But biotech is hanging strong. IWM needs to make up its mind and flush a little bit here, I think. But on a weekly basis, everything's generally moving sideways. IWM has not yet lost the cloud. It does have some basing action here, some buy tails right here. We got a little support level right around here. Support level is usually a band, by the way, not a solid given price. Don't think of support as a price, and once it's lost, all is lost. Because the market tends to lose your price and then find support just under it and move up again. This is sideways action. It's looking toppy. I don't like it. I don't own IWM. I will not buy IWM looking for gains this year. I think the market's going to have a sideways year at best, probably a deep plunge sometime this year, and then we're going to make it back and finish slightly down or sideways. Excuse me. So don't get overly bearish here. We're just going sideways. Any deep plunge can be bought up quickly. The market has to really lose faith and really fall apart. And we're just not there yet. We're going sideways with some pretty bad news out there. Shanghai fell 7% yesterday. The Chinese cracked down on some ridiculous speculation, on some unusual. They have some pretty crazy leverage in their markets, some really crazy leverage, and they got absolutely crushed the other day. They've since made a lot of it back, but this is the Dow Jones Shanghai Index. I don't know if it's a perfect representation of Shanghai, but they had a really, really nasty down day. 7% down is indicative of a bigger problem. 7% down is you have a ton of margin and leverage floating around, and so many people had to get out. It brought down everything. That's a really worrying sign. That's not investing. That's not even speculating. That's a Ponzi scheme. 7% is is something you want to really be afraid of. I'm amazed we're not down more. That happened on a Friday, I think, or Monday. That happened when our markets were closed, and it rebounded the very next day, overnight. So it really didn't seem to bother us too much. But that's a really bad sign globally, and I would expect it to eventually start to hurt. Things like that really spook investors, really spook the speculators, and they start to get really bearish and look for shorts. And the global economy cannot cannot move forward without China. The Chinese are going to have a big give back this year, and it's going to weigh on our markets. There's a lot overseas weighing on our markets right now. We still have rising moving averages. The MACD crossed here on a weekly here on the Qs. Went straight down. This is really nasty looking action on the MACD. This is a get out of town and sell action on the MACD. Cross, flush down, no move up, no move sideways. This looks bad. Yet price is hanging in there. Price is going sideways like, I'm not convinced yet. Bought it up, still hanging strong, holding last week's low. So I'm not that bearish. It's tough to get super bearish here. The cloud's going sideways. We're right at the sideways level of the cloud. And so there's no reason to think we're going to eminently flush. So be careful out there. Keep the big picture in mind, and the big picture is simply not that bearish just yet. Um, I want to see monthly indicators violated. I want to see monthly indicators look really horrible, look really bad. This candle, the bottom of this candle at 98 needs to be taken out harshly to the downside in order for me to get bearish. The MACD on the monthly is rolling over, but the monthly, until the monthly crosses and price moves with it, don't get carried away here because this can touch and bounce, and it frequently does in a bull trend. Um, when it begins to touch, everyone can see that and they freak out, and that's usually when it reverses. So don't get too wildly bearish just yet. If you do buy, make sure you buy March or April calls. I do not think February calls are going to be enough here. We can move sideways and continue down through February and just kind of have a week sideways February and just kind of go nowhere, chopping around. I remember one year a little while ago that happened. We came up, maybe it was last year, um, although last year we had a great February after having kind of a sideways January. We held the lows. And again, had a sideways March, kind of a sideways April. We had the big scare in April, came back up, and no damage was done. We just went sideways. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, and we're still hanging around the exact same price, 87. Okay, and it took the 6 month for us to move higher. We could definitely see that kind of action this year. In fact, I fully expect that kind of action this year. The market looks like it's topping, it's struggling, it's really having difficulty making new highs. Um, and I do not expect a big flush, but the bulls are just holding us up. This is a great market for selling puts. This is a market for luring in put buyers and stealing their premium. That's what's going on right now. You can see it in the S&P. Flushed down, squeezed them up, flushed them down, squeezed them up. You know, at the end of the day on Friday, we were at the same place that we were weeks ago. We were at the same place that we were roughly back in mid-December. Okay, so unless you took your profits, bulls are going nowhere, bears are going nowhere. That's the nature of this market right now. Okay, so be careful buying or selling. You know, look for pops in either direction. Take profits quickly. And honestly, I'm looking more towards a option selling type environment than a buying one. I'm going to be extremely selective in my buying. My buying is probably going to be day trades only. Um, it's going to be really brief, really quick, unusual option activity type of stuff. And there's no real long-term investing. If you want to stay long in your accounts, in your retirement accounts, looking for a bigger top or sideways. Look, if we go sideways, the S&P is still paying a dividend. All right, lots of companies out there still pay their dividends. Even beaten down energy names are still paying their dividends. So you're getting paid to own stocks. The market's not looking euphoric, but it's not looking awful either. So don't sell your long-term holdings just yet. I think that time is going to come later in the year, later this summer. I think you're going to see very, very little reason to own stocks going into October, going into August. I think Europe is going to get even worse later on in the year. They may very well just kind of patch it together right now. But this is sideways action, as you can see. There's no real big breakout or breakdown as far as I can tell. And what they call the sausage makers, the market option sellers, the people putting the bets on, the casino is going to collect their money. This is not this type of solid uptrend. Look at this. Beautiful, moving up, finally tops and have some get back. It just doesn't look like that. We are moving that way in the downside, but the rallies are sharp enough so that the downside is limited, and they're dragging out any selling. That's the type of market that the bears are not maintaining control of. The bears are not taking the baton and really hammering us down through serious violating serious levels to the downside. It's not happening. So don't get too bearish here. Don't sell your long-term names. Hang in there. There's probably going to be some more upside resolution. We do have a gap up at 2090. that I do believe at some point will get filled. So hang on to your long-term holdings and just kind of sit tight. If you're trading, I would be selling things here, selling options either way. If you're going to buy, look at names like Twitter and Apple that can make big moves in one day and make you good profits in one day, um, allowing you to get out. Let's look at Tesla just real quick because it's a good day trading vehicle. Yeah, great. Great day trading opportunity here. I'm mad at myself for not looking at this morning. Broke down, good short, and now it's paying you. You know, at some point you get out, you take your money and run. Don't stick around in this market either way, bull or bear. All right.